Hey guys, it's Dylan. I wanted to make another tutorial for you to make your custom cards with only paint at your disposal. For me, I use a whole lot of Photoshop, and so making the templates is one thing, but giving you the tools to actually make custom stuff is completely different. And we're only going to be using paint, so let's walk you through this. Let's open up paint here. Here we are. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is come up here to File, go down to Properties, and you want to set the size here to 825 by 1125. That's the size of a poker card, and these are in pixels. So you want to, if it says inches or something different up here, go ahead and make sure units is selected to pixels. Colors is color, of course. 825, 1125. Okay, now our canvas is the correct size. So the next thing we're going to want to do is go up here to Paste. Get the drop-down menu, do Paste From. Oh, it opened it right behind it. Come out. There we go. Okay, so we want to paste from with a template. Now, I just pushed the update an hour ago or so. So if you go to Drive-Thru RPG, go ahead and delete your Afatasi's A5eDecks master folder. Just delete it, unless you have something custom in there, in which case you should take it out for a second. Delete that, go to Drive-Thru RPG and download the brand new one. It's going to take a second, but I've reorganized some files and folders to give you a whole bunch of new items and weapons, as well as the individual template sheets. These guys are in 825 by 1125 pixels, as you can see there under dimensions, and we've set our canvas to the same size. So let's say I want to make some kind of campaign specific magic item. I'm going to go to template underscore weapon underscore slashing, because that's the kind of template I want to use. Double click it, boom, it's in there. We're good to go. Now, what do I have to do? I have to drop an image in there of what I want my sword to look like, and then I have to put in like the text field of information about what it does, the weight, the gold value, and the damage it does up here in the corner. So what I'm going to want to do, if you already have your image file, you should be good to go, provided that it is a PNG with transparency. You should be good to go up here to paste from, and then just select your sword with transparency. It'll pop it onto there. You can size it to what you want, and then you can just skip over to the portion where I talk about text fields. But in the case that you don't already have art and you just want to grab something online for personal use with permission, of course, and I recommend you do that. Let's go ahead and search magic sword or whatever you want to search for, and then enter either PNG or transparent at the end of it, because we're not just looking for, we can't really use a sword with like flames or something in the background. We're going to want to find something with transparency in the background. So a lot of these are going to have checkerboard, which means transparency, but I can assure you that this is not actual transparency. That is just it's not transparency. So what you want to look for when you search magic sword transparent or PNG is a sword that has a white background, and when you click it, it turns into checkerbox, like so. Watch. Click it, boom, turned into checkerbox. That's true transparency. This one right next to it, that's not true transparency. Someone just saved an image file over a checkerboard. You know what I mean? So if we were to try to use that, we would get a big old ugly checkerboard on top of our thing, and that's not what we want. So I want to use, this looks pretty cool. I want to use this. So let's do save image as. Let's go ahead and title it something useful and put that on our desktop. Boom. And you can see here on the image thumbnail that it does have transparency. Now if you were to see, let's do save image as, again, name it something useful you can remember. Put it on there. Now you can see just by looking at it, it's got that big white square on it. That is not transparency. You don't want to go with that. You want to go with what actually has transparency there. You should be able to see your desktop wallpaper around the sword, so to speak. Let's go up here to paste from. Let's go up to our desktop, and there it is. There's our cool sword. Bam. What? I thought it was transparent. Okay, this is what's tricky about paint. when you bring in your transparent item, and this one's huge, by the way, I'll show you how to fix that. You want to first go to select, and then you want to come down here to transparent selection. Make sure you still have your sword or image currently selected, and you can tell that it's currently selected because see this kind of checkered line going around it? It's like a selector. It means it's still active, so to speak. While it's still active, and it's active just by pasting from, go to select, go down to transparent selection, and select it. Boom, problem solved. Now, transparent selection is a toggle. So if you click it again, it'll toggle on and off. Okay, so what we want to do is resize this first. So we're gonna grab it by the corner here. See the right widget. Work with me, work with me. There we go. Drag it up. Grab the corner again, drag it up, get it to the right size. Cool. It's a little fat. There we go. And now we're going to go to the rotate tool, and we're going to rotate it, however we want. Once again, we size it. Come on now, work with me. Boom. Cool. All right. Now, when you click outside of this this dotted selector kind of field, like so, the field goes away, but this also means that the image is now committed to our file. So if we try to select it again, we're going to get something like that, which is not what we want. So before you click outside of anything, just make sure it's finalized, it's good to go. Now you will notice that putting that sword in that was so oversized kind of knocked our canvas size out of proportion. We want to go to File, Properties, 825 by 1125 is the magic number. Hit enter. We are back to size. We are back to the right size here. Okay. Cool. So we got our image in there. We went over what transparency was, what to use, what not to use. Now we're going to be using the type tool. It's this little A right here. And we're going to be, the first thing you're probably going to want to do is name your, just go ahead and click up at the top and let's name our sword of songs. Or whatever you would like, of course. And then if you hover over this bounding box, this checkered selector that goes around a text field, or anything that's active in Paint, really, you'll probably notice it was on the sword too. If you hover over the side of it, anywhere other than the corners, you're going to see this little omnidirectional arrow. That means if you click and drag, you can move this guy around. Let's move it right to where we want it. Now, if you want to change the color of this title, select everything with Control A, or highlight it, and then you can just click these colors here. You can get the color that you think is cool. I don't know, let's do a nice blue or something. Let's do, is there a dark blue? How about that? Something a little stronger. Let's do this. Cool, that works. All right, so we've got it titled. Again, if you click outside of this bounding box, it's gonna finalize that, so we can't edit this again now that we've clicked over it. But if you make a mistake or something, or if you're trying to move it around and you accidentally click outside of it, just hit Control Z. Simple as that. Click and type it again. It's going to be frustrating at first, but it gets easier. Trust me. So let's move this guy to where we want it. Let's say, yeah, it's a little too fat. Let's move the text size down to 24. A little too small. Let's do 26. There we go. And then we're going to move it right to where we want. And then when you click outside of that box, boom, it's finalized. Now, what kind of damage does it do? Let's say it does 8d20 damage. Oh, that text doesn't work. Let's do a nice blue or something. Really, it's up to you. However you want to do this. And again, that omnidirectional arrow to drag this guy around. 8d20. How much does it cost? It cost 1 gold piece, my man. So we're gonna select that. Let's say that one. I want it to be in black. I want it to be kind of inconspicuous. Bam, click outside. Over here on the weight, we're gonna do, how much does it weigh? It weighs 0.01 pounds. And then we're gonna, okay, I'll stop playing around. Let's say it weighs 15 pounds or something. Now we are gonna drop that over there. Now remember, the side of this bounding box is going to argue with the end of the canvas. So you're like, I can't fit it. I'm supposed to center it. Just pull this guy closer right here. There we go. Now we can move it over the center of that weight icon. And finally, all we have left is to type in what it does. If you click and drag with the text tool, you'll create a field that you type within. So that's handy for this portion. Usually I was just clicking and it will just create a field for you by default, but if you click and drag, it's going to give you a square that you type within. Let's go ahead and say okay, that's pretty big, so let's Control A, which is to select all, make it an appropriate size. Let's unbold it. Let's put it in italics. There we go. Now we've got something more reasonable. The Sword of Songs strikes down those who make bad tutorials for all time. Let's say the note doesn't like weak coffee. Another condition is that it gives advantage to versus saying too much. Another note is that it Paint is a versatile software, whatever. And again, when you click outside this text field, like I said before, it's going to finalize that, so make sure you move it exactly how you want it. There's nothing wrong with putting a few spaces here, indenting, you know, just whatever you got to do to. Let's see, how about tab? There we go. Tab works too. You know, whatever you got to do to make it look nice. Let's do something like that. Okay. How about that? And then let's delete these indents. Here we go. Bup, 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 bup. How does that look? And then we click outside. Boom. Now we've got the Sword of Songs. We went over how to get the right image in there, how to put text fields on top of it, and the only thing that you won't have here are weapon properties, which are gonna be in between the text field and the picture. Those will be like this. Fractured Crown here is a friend's campaign that I made these items for. Those won't be there. So if you have the Sword of Songs that, let's say, has the heavy weapon property or advantage versus something else, there's like a little icon that you would see right here, those won't be available for custom icons. Those will be things you just need to keep in mind. You know, if you make some kind of pole arm, to keep in mind that it has reach, or that it's heavy, or that it's two-handed. But you can make pretty much anything else that you want in here, provided you have the image and you just use the text tool in Paint. That's good to go. So if you have any questions, please let me know. And finally, let me just go ahead and save this out. Go to File, go to Save As, and then do JPEG. I'm just going to save this to my desktop as custom_weapons_Sword of Songs, and then save it to where you want. There it is. Let's pop this open. Zoom, resolution looks fine. It's legible. And if we hover over that, we're going to see that it is under the dimensions there, 825 by 1125, which is printable. You're good to go. So you can add this in a sheet and print it at home if you like. So this is going to be great for making your custom stuff, armors, you know, swords, weapons, whatever you would like to make, you can do here. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them for you. And cheers.